Morning, everyone. Good morning. Today we have, I think, yes, we have John Knox visiting with us this morning, and we'll hear from him a little bit later. Oh, sorry. We have John Knox visiting with us this morning, and we also have our speakers, Carol Hinkle and Linda Sparks, who we'll hear from shortly. We're going to start with Rafa with our Rotary Minute.
Good morning. So considering the heat wave, I thought it would be fit to talk about what Rotary does for the environment. And I found out about the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group, which is an initiative to assist Rotary clubs and districts in 7 areas of focus: biodiversity, climate change, food systems, pollution, circular economy, sustainable living, and environment. And they assist Rotary clubs and districts in planning and implementing impactful and environmentally sustainable service projects, educating and building awareness, building global and local networks, inspiring sustainable living and action, and supporting Rotary International's environmental initiatives. And in 2021, the Rotary Foundation trustees and their board of directors finalized policies. This is for the grant and donation committee, detailing what kind of environmental projects are eligible for grants. And these grants cover from protecting and restoring land, coastal and marine and freshwater resources, enhancing the capacity of communities and local governments to support natural resource management and conservation, addressing environmental justice and environmental public health concerns, and strengthening the resilience of ecosystem and communities affected by climate change and climate disruption. And if you go to their website, you can find out many ways that you can help as a club and as an individual. And they have lots of virtual seminars and resources for anyone interested in climate change and environmental resilience.
Thank you, Ralph. I'm going to provide this morning's inspiration, and then we're going to go straight to our speakers, and we have some announcements and club visits that we'll do after we hear from our speakers. So I think everyone knows yesterday was Juneteenth, which is a holiday honoring the date in 1865 that the Union Army went into Galveston, Texas, and let the enslaved people there know that they were free. And I thought I would share a few quotes about that day. It became a state holiday in Texas in 1980, and it became a federal holiday in 2021. It was declared a federal holiday and first celebrated in 2022. From Jamal Bowie, who is a New York Times columnist, in 2020 wrote, "Juneteenth may mark just one moment in the struggle for emancipation, but the holiday gives us an occasion to reflect on the profound contributions of enslaved Black Americans to the cause of human freedom. It gives us another way to recognize the central place of slavery and its demise in our national story. And it gives us an opportunity to remember that American democracy has more authors than the shrewd lawyers and erudite farmer philosophers of the Revolution. That our experiment in liberty owes as much to the men and women who fell in bondage as it does to anyone else in this nation's history." And Barack Obama said while he was president, "Juneteenth has never been a celebration of victory or an acceptance of the way things are. It's a celebration of progress. It's an affirmation that despite the most painful parts of our history, change is possible. And there is still so much work to do." And then finally, a short quote from John Lewis: "You must never, ever give out. You must keep the faith because we are one people. We are brothers and sisters. We all live in the same house, the American house."
Good morning, everybody. The cool part of the day. I'm really excited about today's program, which I learned about when I attended a UVM alumni Christmas party, and I met Linda Sparks. who we just moved here to Burlington area, and I was not engaged in different things, and she had all kinds of advice for me about ways to get involved. But that's what we're here to talk about, is one of the programs that she was promoting at that time. And it's called EEE, which stands for Education and Enrichment for Everyone. Has anybody ever attended an EEE program? Barbara Winter. Oh, and Charlie. Okay, great. EEE is a lifelong learning organization that offers lectures on Vermont issues, US issues, foreign affairs, Vermont history, and the arts. They're held Friday afternoons at the Methodist Church on Dorset Street, and they're held in the fall and in the spring. There are about 10 different lectures, maybe a few more. And they bring in, what really impressed me was not just the variety of topics that they offer, and you have some programs there, so you can take a look at the spring program, but really the exceptional quality of the speakers. I mean, I felt like I was back in a lecture, in a college classroom. It's really in depth on whatever the topic is, and people who are really current in their field. And you'll see if you have a brochure, it covers a range from last spring contemporary policing to underwater archaeology of Lake Champlain, to an update of what's happening in the State House, to why the Middle East will always matter. I mean, the topics, and I've gone to some about music, and it puts you in touch with, not just Vermont, but it's a connection to the wider world. Anyway, it's a nonprofit organization. It's led by volunteers, and I've invited 2 of those volunteers here today. Carol Hinkle, who will be coming up in a minute, is the president. She's been a president there for 6 years, and also co-chair of the programming committee. I understand she may be stepping away from the presidency after 6 years, but hopefully won't give up on EEE. And Linda Sparks, who some of you may know as well. Linda is the chair of the membership and nominating committee, and also serves on the programming committee. Carol will be the primary speaker, and Linda will assist. You may know both Carol and Linda, some of you. I think Howard said, I recognize your names. Well, they are recently retired realtors from Lang Associates, now Four Seasons Southeast, where they, in their words, enjoyed a long and successful career as realtors. So I think word you used, Carol, was lengthy, but that didn't sound positive. No, maybe as a retiree, you do feel things are lengthy. I don't know. Anyway, they've served on lots of different committees, in their communities, but the one of note to me was Meals on Wheels. They both served on the board for Meals on Wheels. So please welcome Carol Hinkle and Linda Sparks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So yes, I'm retired and I go to bed at midnight. I'm one of those night owls. So this is early. This is really early. Thanks, Chris, for inviting us. Linda's over in the corner, and if anyone has any questions afterwards, please by all means ask her, and we want you to ask us too. So thank you for explaining, Chris, who we are. EEE, Education Enrichment for Everyone, was started in 1990. And I wasn't involved then, but I've read about it. So apparently there were a bunch of retired people who thought they would like to set up just what we are now, an organization for lifelong learning for its members. So they enlisted the aid of several local college, probably staff people, I'm guessing. And they organized this group, and I know the history I read said they had 165 members, which was great. So they started meeting in various places, Trinity College, UVM, St. Michael's, and so on and so forth, until the year 2000, where they found the Faith United Methodist Church on Dorset Street has a hall right behind Grand Hall, and that's where we've been ever since. So that was in 2000. And it's a great spot because it's easy access. There's no steps to get in. There's parking, there's a restroom, there's even a kitchen attached, which we have used in the past and may start using again. So it's really ideal, not fancy, but perfect for us. And then in the year, so it started off, it was called elder education. Elder education and enrichment. So in the year 2015, the board then, again, I wasn't on it, said, yeah, I think we need to change that. So that's when they dropped the elder part. So the message, of course, is it's for everyone, not just for elders, although in reality, retired people do make up most of our membership. So we are a nonprofit group, which I know Chris mentioned, that's important. We survive by charging our members dues. We also open up our lectures to anyone to come and pay an $8 fee and then donations. So that's how we survive. And we do have a lot of expenses. In fact, our rental from the church is going up this coming fall, so we have to keep up with that. We have 2 semesters of lectures, which Chris mentioned, spring and fall. We actually have been offering 11 lectures now each semester. The spring one usually starts in February, ends at the end of April. And then the fall one will start right after Labor Day and go until just before Thanksgiving. So we meet on Friday afternoons between 2 and 3. That's why mostly retired people or people who are self-employed or between jobs can come, whomever. We offer lectures that start at 2, end at 2:45 with a 15-minute question and answer period afterwards, which we find works really well. So just as a matter of history, so we've been doing this, as you know, for almost 25 years. So then in March of 2020, we had a board meeting on a Monday and we said, okay, we know this COVID thing is coming. The first time someone in Chittenden County is identified as having it, we're shutting down. And that 2 days later, so luckily we'd made that decision. I didn't have to call everyone on the board. What do we do? What do we do? We were shut down. So then we had to figure out how to keep going because, you know, every organization faced that. Some didn't make it and we were determined to keep it going. So we had a great fellow who had offered us technical support for years. And we together found this thing called Zoom webinar. And we had met often constantly online and he would teach us what it was. And the program committee then found a few lecturers, mostly college professors, who were willing to do it. But of course, they were already trying to figure out how to teach their own courses. It was chaotic. But that fall, we did offer 8 lectures in Zoom, and our members kept coming, and we educated them. Of course, we're older. What do you mean Zoom? We educated them how to watch and how to ask questions, and that's how we kept going. And so that was fall of 20, all of 2021, both semesters, and 22 spring, we did Zoom only. And then we said, okay, now people are saying they don't want to Zoom anymore. They want to come back. So we started offering hybrid and we're still doing that, just like you are. So by that time, the fellow that we had counted on had moved. So we hooked up with CCTV. They had come and were videoing our lectures before the pandemic. So they were a perfect organization for us to contact. And they said, yes, we love your lectures. We are willing to come. So we are partnering with them. We're actually a sponsor of CCTV. They have a fellow named Travis who comes every week, sets up, you know, gets organized with the speakers and provides Zoom also for members who do not want to come or cannot come or who live somewhere else in the United States or wherever. Members can live anywhere and Zoom our lectures. We have a lot of people who I think could come, but choose not to come. They like to watch online. So we're thrilled at that. I don't see us changing that relationship in the near future. To give you an idea of what the lectures were, you do have this in front of you. Chris mentioned what the areas of interest are. Vermont, US, Foreign Affairs, Vermont History, and the Arts. And Linda and I, who are both on the program committee, each semester, the 4 of us that meet, we go, okay, now what? What are we gonna do now? And so we really want to try, we started to really learn that people want to know about current issues. So the more we can think of and read and listen and get suggestions from people about current issues, that is important to us. I mean, we have to include a few other things, but current things. So the things that Chris mentioned, the first one we had was from a professor from Dartmouth who had spoken to us before. She's a now retired, she's a emerita professor. The politics of dysfunction is the state of America's democracy as scary as so many observers claim. She was terrific. I don't know if either of you who came to that one. We had, the place was packed. At that, this past semester, we had 165 members, but we had walk-ins of probably, at that time, I would say we had at least 60 walk-ins. And she was amazing. She was, you know, that's a pretty deep subject. And she was very nonpartisan, all good. The Great Vermont Flood of July 2023, we had the meteorologist in charge of the National Weather Service come, and he talked about how they tracked the storm, who they notified, what their systems were. Very interesting. China and the West, historical lessons for the present. We've already had someone in the past speak about what's going on now, but we wanted to hear about how they got to this point. And he was very good, a professor at UVM. What can you do with $20 million from homelessness to home ownership? That was Michael Monti, CEO of Champlain Housing Trust. It is amazing how many people they have working there, all, not just the motels that they've converted, but so many fingers and so many pies. And what they're doing for our area is so commendable, really. Contemporary policing, Sean Burke, the chief of police of South Burlington, came. That's a pretty current topic, isn't it? The underwater archaeology of Lake Champlain. We try every time to have at least one arts subject and one history subject if we can. This was interesting to know, you know, how many battles and we've had and lake shipwrecks in the lake. That was very interesting. That was from Lake Champlain Maritime Museum. We will try to have museums as much as possible. We certainly have had the Shelburne Museum. We've had Ethan Allen Homestead Museum, Fleming Museum, Rokeby Museum. You know, we had the museum down at the quarry in Barry. So that's important to people. They want to hear about history. Inside the Capitol, an update of Vermont's legislative session. Every spring, we try to get someone who can report to us on what's going on in Vermont. And hopefully after the crossover date, so that the issues that we're really going to be potentially passed into law are there. Sarah Meerhoff, whom I'm sure you've read VT Digger, she was excellent, and I hopefully will invite her back. Artificial intelligence, talk about a timely topic. We got a gentleman from Champlain, a professor. He had already spoken to us before another time on cybersecurity. So you can see we're trying to keep current. Why the Middle East will always matter. We actually booked him before the war started, so that was fortuitous. We had a local cartoonist come and speak to us. She had never spoken to us before. She did the graphics for a novelist. I think his name was Eric Klein, maybe. Very good. The history of the year civilization collapse. It was interesting. And that book you could buy. So you may know that Burlington was designated one of the 31 tech hubs in the country. And so we wanted to hear about that. We had not the fellow who's named here, but another fellow who's involved. He's overseeing on behalf of UVM, the collaboration with local foundries. And so they've applied for money, for funding, and we're hoping they're going to get it. And then they can proceed. So I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things last fall that were really highlights. We started out with Mark Levine. We all know who he is, right? We all watch TV when he, yeah. We had a music teacher who's retired from Middlebury. What's so great about Beethoven's Fifth? We love him. We've had him, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 times. And he'll take a piece of music and break it apart. You hear the same theme over and over. Very interesting. Our members love that.
He's also very funny.
Okay. Labor in the food system. Jane Lindholm came. She was fun. She's great. We love her. Mike Pichak, our state treasurer, came and talked about the economy, Vermont and beyond. Very good speaker. Oh, and then this was a real highlight. We had someone from Beta Technologies come. And we followed it up with a tour. Yeah, that was a biggie. Poor Linda got involved in that up to her eyeballs, but she did a great job organizing that tour. We had someone talk to us about history of Bolivia. We had enabling renewable energy integration with grid flexibility, a professor from UVM, an engineering professor. And wow, there's a lot going on with the grid. I'm sure you all know that. And I'm sure you probably read a little bit about Green Mountain Power, what they're doing. And then Dave Farrington from City Place, we wanted to know what the heck is going on down there finally. So he came and spoke to us. So it was all good. So how do we find these people? Well, you know, we send surveys out to our members twice a year. They come up with ideas. We read all sorts of publications. We listen to BPR or maybe Vermont This Week. We're just aware of issues. So we try very hard to come up with, if we don't know a speaker, we'll come up with a topic and one of us will take that on. And we will look online at Middlebury, at UVM, at St. Mike's, at wherever to try to find some professors. But then sometimes, like we have someone speaking to us this fall that I happen to be the contact with Mark Levine. I emailed him and said, do you have any suggestions of someone to speak on this topic? And yeah, he did. So this is, you know, how we just keep going and trying to find things. We got this fall figured out, but the brochure isn't out yet. So that will be coming out in August. I did want to tell you a little bit about how we're set up. We have a program committee, which you know. We have membership committee, which Linda's the chairman of. We have publicity, which I think we send articles to the Observer. We send articles to all the local papers. We tell them what our, you know, calendar of events, 7 days. We have our brochures, and Front Porch Forum has turned out to be a wonderful source for us. In fact, if any of you would be willing to post on your Front Porch Forum, we send out over the preceding weekend, whatever you need to have information to post on Front Porch Forum. You don't even need to join us. We have several people who are not members that do that. And this is how we're getting the word out to the public. And we get these walk-ins, sometimes, as I said, a large number. Walk-in fee is $8 per lecture. Membership fee is $55 per semester. I think it's a good deal. Yeah. Special events. We've been doing some special events. I think I mentioned the Beta Technologies. Often we'll follow up a museum lecture with a visit to the museum. During the pandemic, we said, gee, no, we can't meet. So we started having a few outdoor things like walks. We've done ferry rides over to the old dock in the summer. In fact, I think we may be doing that this summer. We're hoping to. What are some of the other things we've done?
Walk down to Meacham Farm. Which I
Yeah,
thought was
Yeah,
interesting.
some walks, yeah, some
Beach
walks.
Cove.
We've had walks.
Beach and Allen Homestead.
Yeah, yeah, we went to
Museum.
following up the museums. So we're always thinking of things to get our members out of.
Melisira.
Oh, yes, I never can pronounce that, but that one. Marcella, Mirosira, Melosira, that one.
Well, and what is that?
It's the research
Marcel-
boat from
it's the new
UVM.
one. Marcel Melisira.
Well, okay, Marcel, but yeah, I didn't go, obviously. We had Britta Ton, I don't know if any of you have heard of her. She's a Vermont historical architect historian, I guess I call her. She talked to us on the ravine, which I think you all know that Burlington had a ravine that interesting. And so then we had a trip with, tour with her this past semester in Old Burlington, so she's fabulous. We continue to have her. You know, former speakers, if it's someone that's been popular, we will have them every 2-3 years, not right away, but. So we would love to have you come, even if you come to just one lecture, or we'd love to have you join, we'd like to have you.
Carol, if people gave you their emails, hopefully pass something around, you will send them,
We'll send you a
A
brochure.
brochure.
Linda has the sign-up sheet, so you can,
and because what I found really helpful is I get the brochure and then I can enter things. I may not go to every lecture. I'm a member, but I may not go to every lecture because of travel and things, but I know what the topics are.
Right.
So for me, even though I'm retired, I'm busy, and if I just see it in front porch forum, it may be too late for me to adjust my Friday, but I've got all of these in my calendar. I probably attend maybe 5. And I just was informed I'm now on the membership committee. But it's, I was anyway. Anyway, I can't speak highly enough of the quality of these topics and these lectures. They really are, they're exceptional. I mean, 45 minutes is just enough time to really get in depth on a topic. We do so many great things here. You know, we hear from some of the same people, but they've got 15 minutes, right? And then the quality of the questions and the responses to the questions are always a favorite time, things that I haven't thought of.
yeah, we have some pretty bright members. Yeah, I see.
Okay,
Barbara.
well, Mike, I was a very active member for years.
Uh-huh,
And we have meetings that they used to be Mondays and Fridays.
that's right.
And then suddenly there was this drop off. I don't know, and for a while I thought the organization did not exist.
Maybe that was during the pandemic?
No, it was a
Oh.
little bit before
Oh.
because the leadership had changed.
Oh, okay.
And I stopped getting information. I fell off the
Oh,
deep end, and I just wondered what happened to several of my colleagues who also we would get, because I would get these brochures twice a month, twice a year, and know what was going on, and I stopped getting it, so.
well, if you don't join or come after maybe 5 years, we will call out our list. So that could have happened. I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't president then, so.
Right, no, so it's nice to know you're alive and
Oh,
well.
we are very
This was
much alive and.
I was a member when it was elder as opposed to.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay, so that's before 2015.
Right, so I don't, as I said, and then that membership, the leadership had dropped off,
Yeah,
and
well, we're alive and well now.
good to know.
We are 165 members, so we're doing really well. So, yes,
Thank you, Carol.
sure.
This really won't matter to this woman because she's no longer with us, but I feel very lucky to have lived for, I don't know, about 30 years next door to Sylvia Smith.
Oh,
Who was
yeah.
really a founding member of
Yes.
this, and it was really teachers who mainly were involved in that because they knew each other.
Yeah.
And were retired
Yeah.
together. And Sylvia Jarvis Smith, her father was Dr. Jarvis, who wrote the vinegar and apple cider medicine healing books that a lot of Vermonters know about. And she was really not just one of the founders, but really fought so hard in the beginning to keep this organization going. And she's about this big and about this big.
Full of
personality.
energy.
And
Yes.
some of you know her, and you probably don't have all happy memories of Sylvia. She could be a little overwhelming, but it took her personality and push to get that going with a few other people, and she must be delighted that it's still going on.
Yes. Oh, good. Well, thank you for
being
that.
here.
Yes, because I don't know any founding members.
Oh, yeah.
There was one woman that I met online, and she said that she was a founding member. I think Harriet Long.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't know if she's still
no
living
longer
or
with-
not. No, I don't think so. Hi.
Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Sure.
You presented some very interesting lectures, apparently. Do you record those lectures? Are they available for future viewing?
Are they on YouTube?
No, they're not on YouTube. They're not on YouTube. We don't record them. CTV does report them. So, yeah.
Okay, because I was really interested in Lake Champlain,
Right.
you mentioned that.
Right, you know, if you see me, well, you've got, I guess, something going on afterwards. I can try to dig that up for you and send it to you.
Yeah, it might be a good way to raise some funds too. We could give a donation for watching the video.
Right, that's something we're looking into.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to move this group into the 21st century.
Mhm.
You know, there's a little reluctance. Eventually, now I'm only gonna be present until next April, but eventually I'm hoping that we will be able to offer more online features. And we do have a website, by the way, and it's listed at the bottom of these brochures, eevermont.org. So pretty much everything I've told you is on there. And you can even look, there's a place where our archive lectures are listed, but
So
It's-
Carol, you can't go back to listen to a lecture.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Even if they contacted this other organization, they didn't keep these, they're not recorded someplace, they're not archived. You don't know.
CCTV has some.
They do.
Yeah. But I don't know how far back they go, but I may be able to help. So
Yeah, I
that's why.
think, Armand, that's a great suggestion for the organization, because some of these topics people might want to go back.
Right.
It's
Right.
available for members. Oh, for members, you could do it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
I have a question for you. There's a group called OLLI.
Ollie,
That
yes.
does all kinds of like classes, I would say, more than a lecture.
Right.
Do you interact with them at all? Do you get some ideas of who they have, or do they
Well,
get ideas from
I
you?
must say that there's someone they just booked that we've had for several times. So I believe, now I don't know this for a fact, maybe someone here would know. I think that we broke off from Ollie per se. And we originally had an agreement that we would do the lecture type of thing and they would do the lighter courses, but now they've kind of crossed the line over, so I don't know. Yes, we'll watch, we look at Vermont Humanities, what are they offering? I mean, I think to some extent, we all pass around the same people. So we're always on the lookout. Anything else?
Well, one of the other things that used to be really lots of fun was sometimes Triple E would have a guest lecturer for 3 sessions.
Yeah,
So you'd have you really
Yes.
felt like you were taking a mini college
Yes.
course, and I don't know if you're still doing that.
we haven't been doing that. We have heard pluses and minuses about that approach. One year we had, this was before we were involved, we had series.
Right.
And people would say, I'm not interested in that. It's too much of that. So, you know, you can't win.
Oh, absolutely, but
You know,
there
we
was
just-
some that people just had to go.
I know. One was pretty political and that
Mhm.
turned people off. So, and then we had people from the communications field. I remember we had a series. I don't know if that was probably after your time, but yes, definitely. We're open to any suggestions.
Are you interested in receiving a brochure?
Any other questions for Carol? We're passing around a sheet and I can make sure that you get it. So
Name,
you don't need to
address, and
hang around.
email, please.
Armand, if you want to follow them out, you're welcome to. I told them they didn't need to stay for the business meeting, but Armand, if you have questions, I'm sure they'll be happy to answer. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
you're so welcome.
And
We
really
hope to see
appreciate
you.
we hope we see you, and you have one more task.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll clap. So we draw a ticket and somebody
And if
wins the raffle, so you get to call out the last 3 numbers, and the money that we raise today will be donated to the Williston Mentor Program, Williston City, Central Schools.
Just the last 3 numbers?
Just the last 3.
3, 3, 4. I finally won.
Yeah. Incoming president.
Congratulations.
Yeah. But thank you again. I
Oh,
know
you're
it's
not
early in the morning.
Oh, it's
But we
okay.
really
Where's the
appreciate it.
link?
Hope some of you,
Are you
see some of
interested
you
in
at this
receiving-
lecture series next
Yeah,
time.
and my phone number is
Because
in
as
the
I said,
brochure.
Yeah,
So
so
you can
we
get
get
on
on
me.
that.
Well, that's
Yeah,
good.
just call
There you
your
go.
question.
And I thought you
right,
dropped
thank you
off
so
on the
much.
end of the world.
Thank
Truly.
you very much, Carol.
So we are also interested in people putting this on Front Porch Forum. We really need, that brought in a lot more people. So if you're interested in doing Front Porch Forum, put a star next to your name.
So you already have your whole
Yes.
series set up for next semester?
This coming semester, yes, we
Yeah.
do. The brochure is not out yet. We were,
Would it be online though? You could, when it comes out?
yes.
Really, really excellent. And we have a few people that come from Williston, but I don't, not a lot, so. Anyway, thank you. I'll make sure that this gets around, Linda.
Okay.
Is that your pen?
Good to
That's your
spread the
pen.
word. Thank you very much. It sounds like a very interesting organization and program.
So much.
Okay, at this point, we have quite a bit of club